Hey now, today we're going to take a look at the second starter set for Marvel Dice Masters, and that is Uncanny X-Men. The Avengers vs. X-Men set is quite notable for being unplayable because you can't actually purchase it. Or at least it has been that way for a little while. They've had a serious shortage of stock over there at WizKids, but it looks like finally they've got things under control because while they still don't have restocks of Avengers vs. X-Men and all the different booster packs, they do have plentiful stock of the Uncanny X-Men set, at least at my local store and online. So it seems like you can readily get this set. And just like the original starter set, there are 8 heroes, 3 different cards of each that come in the starter set, and all the appropriate dice, 2 dice for each of the characters, and 10 new basic action cards as well. And then you can go ahead and pad that out with more booster packs, which are, depending on where you buy them, 79 cents to $1, which gives you 2 character cards and a die for each of those cards. So, we're not going to take a look at how the game is played, because you can go back and look at my previous, actually 2 reviews, so you can get an idea of how the game is played. But I just want to show you some of the new cards that come in this brand new starter set, along with some cards that I pulled in some of the boosters, because not every card in the Uncanny X-Men set is actually the Uncanny X-Men or villains. Some in the boosters you can actually get Iron Man, the Red Hulk, the Falcon, some characters that have nothing to do with the X-Men, but they just threw them in there for I don't know what reason. So let's go ahead and take a look at those cards, and we're going to come back and I'll let you know what I think. Okay, I'm going to give you a very brief look at the new starter set for Dice Masters. This is Marvel's Uncanny X-Men. Now, this has everything that you need in order to play with 2 players. So just as a formality, I'll show you that everything that you see here comes in the box. You have 2 sets of the 8 starter dice. You have the 4 colored cards that you're going to put the action dice on, and therefore you have 4 sets of 3 dice for that. You have an expansion checklist, and you also have these plastic, very, very poor plastic bags, or paper bags, I guess, that you keep your dice in, that you pull your dice from while you're playing, which you should probably quickly replace with actual cloth dice bags as soon as you can. So now that's out of the way, let's get to the good stuff. Now here are all the new character and basic action cards that come in the Uncanny X-Men starter set. I'm not going to go over every single one, but I picked one from each of the different characters that I thought was interesting, and then a few of the basic action cards as well. So you have Quicksilver, who is one of my least favorite X-Men / Avengers, but anyways, his abilities have to do with coming out and dealing damage very quickly. So when fielded, Quicksilver deals 1 damage to one opposing character. This is his Pietro Maximoff card. Then you have Wolverine. Now, he has the Heroic ability. Heroic is that when fielded, you can pair up this character with a different character that has Heroic until the start of your next turn. And when you do that, you're going to get a special ability. So in this case, when Wolverine is paired, he and his partner can only be blocked by 2 or more characters each, which is really powerful, actually. Then you have Iceman, who is one of my favorite X-Men, and he has to do with increasing, you pay more energy and you increase his power, so in this case, lightning. Once per turn, you may pay 1 lightning to double Iceman's attack. He has a global ability that you can pay a lightning to spin any number of your sidekick dice to their lightning side, so you can just generate more and more and more energy. Kitty Pryde, who is definitely one of my favorite characters of the entire Marvel Universe, this card here, the Shadowcat card, cannot be blocked on the turn that it is fielded. Also has a global ability. You can pay 1 of the mask dice to target character cannot attack this turn unless its owner pays a life. You can really shut someone down that way. Now, Magneto's cards, most of the cards have to do with crazy stuff like putting himself back into the prep area. It's just moving things around. But this is the card that I like the most, the Arch Villain card. If your opponent has no villains in the field, he gets +3 attack and defense. I just like that. I don't know, it's cool. Probably impractical, but I still like it. Juggernaut has to do with using sidekicks for his own ends. Basically flinging people around. The Kane Marco card, when he takes damage, you may move any or all of your sidekicks to your use pile. Prevent up to 3 damage to Juggernaut per sidekick moved. Cyclops, not one of my favorite characters of all time, but one of my favorite characters in this set at least. He has a lot of very powerful abilities that come into play when he's fielded. So, for instance, Optic Blast, when fielded, Cyclops deals 3 damage to an opposing character. Your opponent may pay 3 life to prevent this. I like that card a lot. And Angel is my least favorite character in this set, and probably one of my least favorite characters overall. But Archangel is really cool. His superhero card, which is so weird and generic. Anyways, Another heroic ability. When fielded, you can pair him up with a different heroic character until the start of your next turn. Once per turn, while Angel is paired up, you may pay a shield to give Angel and his partner each +2 defense. Woohoo! Anyways, let's look at some of the cooler action cards. Take That Villain. You can deal 3 damage to a villain when he uses action phase, or for 2 burst symbols, you can deal an extra 1 damage to that villain, which is very situational, but could be very, very powerful as well. Transfer powers. Roll a character die from your use pile. If it rolls a character face, you field it at no cost. Otherwise, you place it in your bag. I think that's pretty dang cool. Even if you fail, I mean, at least you get to put it back into your bag and into circulation faster. Global ability, you can pay a shield, swap the attack value of one of your characters with that of one opposing character. That's pretty powerful. Possession. At the start of your next attack step, take control of an opposing character with a level lower than one of your characters and attack with it. Sorry if it's out of focus a little bit. 2 burst symbols. Instead, you take control of an opposing character with an equal or lower level. Last one we'll take a look at is Imprisoned. You can actually capture, with this die, you can capture a number of opposing characters with a total fielding cost of 2 or less, which is great for clearing the field of sidekicks. Also, I suppose that I should show you some of the dice that actually are associated with these, if you care. I mean, there's Quicksilvers. Here is Angels, appropriately dorky. Wolverines is claws, which there already was a Wolverine, right? And I think a lot of these are just color swapped, but they're the same. And you can actually use them for their other applicable character cards as well from other sets. Magneto's is pretty cool. Cyclops I actually like a lot. His die. And then Juggernaut and Shadowcats. Shadowcats is really... they really went all out on that. It really looks like she's someone walking through a wall if you look at it right. And Juggernaut's, appropriately enough, is that. Now, that's all the stuff that comes in the basic starter set, but let's take a look at a few of the cards you can pull from the booster packs, because why not? Okay, here's just a few of the other new characters, and I've only got a couple of cards of each, but you have Cable. Man of action, when Cable is blocked, deal 1 damage to an opposing character. Global ability, pay 2 lightning. You can deal 1 damage to target opposing character. That character must block if able. And actually, here, I'll grab some of the dice associated with these guys. So there's Cable's die, which is his weird-looking, spotty eyeball laser thingy. Then you have Falcon. A lot of weaker cards here, but they're fast and quick to get out. When fielded, you may the Airstrike cards, you may move one of your sidekicks to your use pile to deal 2 damage to an opposing character. The Red Hulk, whose dice are interchangeable with the original Green Hulk. While Red Hulk is active, this is the AKA Rolk card. Does anyone actually call him that? Whatever. When an opposing sidekick is knocked out, your opponent loses 1 life, no matter how many Red Hulk dice you have fielded. With the burst symbol, if Red Hulk knocks out a sidekick, your opponent loses 2 additional life. And finally, the only super rare that I was able to pull is the Iron Man Industrialist card. Cancel all damage that villains deal to Iron Man. Burst symbol, double Iron Man's attack value while he's engaged with the villain. And global ability, this is probably the most interesting part. You can pay a shield and target character gains the villain affiliation. This works really well with the basic action card that targets villains and deals them 3 damage. If you happen to get those 2 out, it works really, really great. And oh yeah, here's the other dice associated with them, because why not? There's Iron Man, again, color swap die. There's the Hulk, the Red Hulk, and here is Falcon, which is much better than Angel's die. All right, that's most of the new stuff, or at least a sampling of the stuff you'll find in the new Uncanny X-Men expansion set. Now, let's get to my final thoughts. Well, I'll just go ahead and say right up front that if you didn't like Dice Masters before, there's nothing here that's going to change your mind. This is a collectible game, and such, every expansion that comes out is not going to revolutionize the game or reinvent the wheel in any sort of way. It's just going to add on to what's already there, give you more variety, and maybe some new abilities, and that's what happens here. The heroic ability, which, well, actually, let me take even a step back, and I'll give a little disclaimer here as to how I play Dice Masters. I am not fully on board with the collectibles aspect of this. As you saw in the overview, I did buy some booster packs, so I got some new cards, and it was more of an impulse purchase more than anything. They're 79 cents a piece. But I am not that heavy into doing that, to hunting down cards, to playing in the tournament scene, to like grabbing my box of organized Dice Master stuff and running to the local store and seeing who wants to play a pickup match. I'm not doing that anymore. I did that a little bit with Magic, and I was years and years ago, and I'm done with that. The way that I play Dice Masters is that if I'm looking to kill time on game night, and I only have one person waiting for more people to show up, or at the end of the night when I have an opponent, and we just want to do something quick to cap off the night, pull out Dice Masters and draft the heroes that I have. Whatever I have, that's what we draft, and that's what we play with. Just make sure everyone has only one of each different hero type or villain type, and that's it. And then we just play a little pickup match. I'm very, very casual about this. So having said that, I did not explore every nook and cranny of the original Avengers vs. X-Men set. Not that it was totally possible for me to do so at a certain point because of the inability to actually obtain the game. I was lucky that I got the starter that I did. But nevertheless, it's just, I'm not looking to get too deep into it. I will always just be a casual fan of this really excellent game. And Uncanny X-Men keeps up that excellence, I think. You have the heroic ability, which, as I was about to say before I interrupted myself, I don't recall that from the original set, and it's a pretty cool ability. You can pair up heroes and get a special ability for doing so. And so, of course, it's better for you to field an entire team of heroic characters, or at least most of them, in order to get the most benefit out of that. That's a little hard to do when you're drafting characters like I do, but still, when you can pull that off, it's really, really cool. I like the specific abilities of some of the heroes in this set, especially Cyclops. For some reason, Cyclops just seems really cool to me. He, along with some other characters in this set, maybe that's another thing in this set, but the ability to field characters and then something happens. In the case of Cyclops, he has one that deals 3 damage to a character when he's fielded unless your opponent pays 3 life. That is freaking cool, okay? So you have some really cool character abilities here. I like Quicksilver's abilities. He also has an ability where you field him and he deals a damage to everyone's sidekicks, which, sometimes you will fight an opponent who wants to go the sidekick route and just flood out all of his sidekicks, if only to get them out of his deck and just keep them there as blockers. Well, Quicksilver makes that not a viable option, which is pretty cool. I like the new basic action cards. Some of them are really crazy, like Imprisonment, which can really slow someone down. You have the Possession card, which can be pretty crazy as well. Now, I found a neat combo by using one of the Iron Man cards that I got from the booster packs, where you can create, I guess this is like this supposed to be the superior Iron Man or something, but you can make heroes into villains using his global ability. Combine that with the action card that lets you deal damage to villains whenever you pull up that action die. That can be pretty cool. So there are definitely some combos I can see just from buying the starter set and some boosters, which is really cool. And that's the cool thing about the game, is that you don't need much to get going with it and to have a lot of fun with it. You don't need to be chasing those rares and super rares in order to have fun. And it's really the reason why I've stuck with Dice Masters, and I'm going to buy the Dungeons & Dragons starter set. I'll buy the Yu-Gi-Oh! Starter set. I don't even care about Yu-Gi-Oh! But sure, why not? Because just having the starter set gets you a lot of stuff. I would like to try this multiplayer. I don't know if they've set any firm rules for that, but if I can get that going and get it done in a fun way, then I think that this could get even more play in my group. Just like with the starter set, you need a playmat to play this game. It really, really helps. I don't think you need to pay for it. I had a really, really awesome one that someone posted online that I printed out at my company on banner material. It works fantastic. A couple of them actually that I printed out. But if you can do that, it really, really helps. The game really needs some sort of playmat to keep track of where everything is, at least until you get really good at memorizing the game and things going to which... going from reserve to KO, yada, yada, yada. But anyways, this is a fun set. I like the new heroes and villains that are in here. I like the new abilities. It's just more of the same, but more of the same is good, and having more variety of characters to choose from, more cool dice. I should mention that there's some characters that are repeats already. They have different colored dice, but the dice are the same, like Iron Man, and I think even the Hulk's dice are all the same. The Red Hulk, as opposed to the Green Hulk, is still the same. It's just different variations of characters. So you can mix and match them if you want, if you really need more dice for your original characters from Avengers vs. X-Men. Just throwing that out there, but... I had a lot of fun with this game. I think it's great. I want to see more and more of these starter sets coming out, because and I want to see more maybe themed sets coming out, so that you don't have to buy the boosters if you don't want to. Sort of how Magic does the dual decks, which I have a lot of fun with. I would love to see that happen. Just an alternative to people that don't want to chase the collectible aspect of the game. Otherwise, I give the game a great recommendation. Check it out. It should be available this time around. My name is Nick. This has been Board Game Brawl. I'm reminding you to get out there and game every day and every way. Take care.